Hello and welcome back to Alexandra's walking you through another assignment. Today we're doing the refutation argument. All right, and so what I'm asking you to do is to choose one of the readings from part 6 in Practical Argument. That would be this book. All right, as the basis of your refutation argument. So you got to find an article, an argument that's in the book, and then find something you don't like or that you can disagree with, that you can argue with. All right, and then you're going to refute that argument. All right, that is your job. All right, so you're going to find the original, you're going to read through it, you're going to carefully, closely read through it. You have to be able to really understand what the original argument is. And I especially mention that for those of you who want to read the Let Them Eat Dog piece, because that is actually a satire based on a different satire which you don't know about. So be careful of which articles you choose. Okay, so you have to understand the original premise. In your assignment, you have to summarize what is the original argument. Right? And it's really important that you do that so that then you can refute that argument. So your introduction with the summary part of the actual essay that you're choosing needs to be pretty robust, right? It can't be just a couple 3 sentences. It needs to be pretty carefully summarized so that you have enough to go through to carefully take it apart and say, okay, so the author says this, but here's why the author is wrong. All right, and then explain your point of view. Right, because that's what a refutation argument is. It is taking apart a different argument, right, and examining it for the flaws, examining it for, ways maybe that you could look at the same information but from a slightly different slant, so that you can basically examine it and say, okay, I hear what you're saying, but here's why I think you're wrong. Okay. All right, so you're going to need to do outside research, right? Because whatever the topic is, I'm sure that it's always a good idea for you to have more research, right, and know more about the topic than just what is presented in the original article. All right, so you can write this in first or third person. All right, the reason why I was okay with you writing first person is you may choose an article that you actually have some actual life experience with. And in that case, that makes you sort of an expert person, like you know something about this. You're not just some yahoo on the street. You know about this. Right? And so in that case, your expert opinion is relevant. Right? Needs to be 3 to 5 pages. You need at least 5 outside sources. Right? You get to write this in APA format, right? And the reason I want you to write it in APA format is because I want you to practice APA format so that you can be the best, most well-rounded student you possibly can be. All right, free of sentence level errors, blah, 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 meets these goals, all right, meets these outcomes. All right, so let me know if you have any questions so far, but moving on. All right, again, how I'm going to grade you. All right, so I'm looking for the original article to be summarized in the introduction, and it has to be well balanced. Now, you can't just be writing like, this guy is such an idiot because blah, 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 and he says da, 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 da. Really? No, no, no. We're in academia now. We are respectful. All right, you want to be fair. You want to be balanced. You want to be objective. All right, there's going to be plenty of time for you to give your opinion. At the outset, you want to be fair and balanced and objective. All right, you do have to have a refutation thesis. So if you need to go back and review what a refutation thesis is, go and do that. I encourage you strongly. All right, so it should summarize the opposition points and then outline your argument. So although I agree with blah, 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 I disagree in these areas because blah, blah, and blah, and blah. All right, whatever those are. Organization. So I'm looking for you to write your essay in an refutation format. So again, in the lecture about the refutation argument, it gives you an outline, a map of what this should look like. Please, look at that carefully and follow that outline. All right. Get 5 sources cited correctly in APA, both in the text and at the end. right? Which means your format for your paper also needs to be APA. Right? You get between 1 and 3 sentence level errors before you start losing points. 4 to 5, you've lost 5 points. 6 or more, big fat goose egg. Right, you want to stay away from that. I, again, want you to really pay attention to your editing skills. I know this is not anybody's favorite thing. Nobody thinks that editing is the greatest fun thing that they've ever done in their life unless they're going to grow up to be an accountant, at which point it's not about editing, it's about being super anal retentive and able to find small errors. And while I liked accounting, I knew that was not who I was going to be when I grew up. Right? It was just a fun puzzle. Try to think of this as a fun puzzle to finding where the right comma goes, to making sure that all your subject verbs agree, to making sure that you spelled friend instead of fiend. Right? And then again, APA format. If you are losing points on APA format, please see the notes on the last paper, I guess. Because we've gone over this and I want you to be able to do this well. You will need it in other classes, I promise. All right, I've given you an example, all right, and this is not a good example. This is actually a fairly wretched example. This would be a C for the draft, not even for the final essay. For the final essay, this is not a really good example. All right, but I am giving you an example of what it looks like. All right, and then if you really want, you can look at the example of the peer feedback that I give myself on this. All right, and I'm a little harsh on my own criticism because I'm writing to me. I probably wouldn't be that harsh to you. Right. So, but look at sort of how, how I'm being self-reflective. And that is the kind of feedback I want you to give to each other, right, to help each other think through the ideas a little bit more. All right. So, not sure what else to ask or to tell you. I'm looking forward to your questions, and I will see you when I see you and when you call me and when you email me and let me know what questions you have. Thanks, and I'll talk to you later.